Hello and welcome to the SPH Teaching Kitchen's online cooking series. My name is Emily, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to make pineapple ice cream. This is a really simple and easy to make dessert, and we only need 2 ingredients. We need frozen pineapple and coconut milk, and that's it. We're going to blend everything together and we're going to make a smooth and creamy ice cream that doesn't have any added sugar in it, doesn't have any heavy cream or any crazy ingredients. It's just simple and delicious. For this recipe, we are going to use 2 cups of frozen pineapple and 1/3 cup of coconut milk. Now you can buy frozen pineapple bagged in the freezer section at the grocery store. I actually like to just buy a pineapple, let it get really ripe so it's sweet, cut it up and freeze it myself. I find that oftentimes buying the pineapple fresh can be a little bit cheaper than buying it pre-cut up and frozen for you. So we are going to take our 2 cups of pineapple and pour that into a blender. So you do need a blender or a food processor for this recipe. I'm going to add my coconut milk here. Now I recommend using a blender if you have it. It's a little tricky to get it going when you first start blending, but it is going to give us a smoother ice cream. If you use a food processor, it's easier to blend everything, but it won't get quite as smooth. It's still going to be really good, so it just depends on what you have and what you prefer for the texture. And then all we have to do is blend this up. I do recommend letting the pineapple sit out at room temperature for about 10 minutes, just to let it soften up a little bit. That makes it much easier to blend. If you try to blend it straight from the freezer, it's just not going to blend. You're going to have to wait a little bit anyways for it to thaw out a little bit, so just starting with slightly softer pineapple is a good way to go. Alright, so now all we have to do is blend. It is a little tricky at first to get it going, but it will all come together in the end. So you can see it's going to stop blending, it's going to blend up a little bit and then get stuck. So just have a spoon or a tamper on hand just to keep mixing everything together as you go. You might be tempted to add more liquid to this. Don't do that, or you're just going to get a smoothie, which is fine. That'll still be tasty, but it's not really going to be that ice cream soft serve consistency that we're looking for. So what I'm using here is called a tamper. This is something that comes with some blenders. It's nice because I can push stuff down, but it has this base right here that will keep me from touching the blade of the blender. I don't recommend just sticking a wooden spoon in there because you could break the spoon and break the blender. So if you have a tamper, use it. If not, you just have to take the lid off, kind of tamp everything down a little bit, and then keep blending. My blender is really big, so it's hard for me to blend small amounts of food. If you have a normal size blender, you shouldn't run into that problem. Alright, so after a few minutes of just blending and being patient, scraping down our blender, we should have a really nice smooth ice cream. Now you can get really creative with this. You could add some lemon juice or lime juice or zest to this recipe. You could add other fruits to it as well. There's really a lot of possibilities when making an ice cream like this. Now when we go to serve this, it's going to be somewhat of a soft serve consistency. It's going to be on the softer side. If you want it to be a little more firm, you could stick this in the freezer for 10 to 20 minutes before you go to serve it. This is best when you serve it right away, but you can keep this in the freezer. It is going to freeze pretty solid, so I recommend if you want to save this for tomorrow, just pull it out of the freezer 20 minutes before you want to eat it, and you should get a nice texture on that. But we can see that right now it's scoopable. It looks like a pineapple sorbet. And there we have our pineapple ice cream. Thank you for joining us in the SPH Teaching Kitchens online cooking series. This has been our recipe for pineapple ice cream, and we will see you again for the next one.